Okay, so Joe Rogan just shared a video on the Shroud of Turin on his official X account. Let's look at it right now so you guys can see this. Okay, pretty fascinating deep dive into the Shroud of Turin. He just tweeted this a couple hours ago. And when I first saw this, I had to actually check and see if this was the real Joe Rogan. It is. The 15 million followers. This is the real account. He shared a Shroud Studies video. We're going to look at this video in just a second, but let's first talk about how big this is. Like, he just had Wes Huff on his show, right? And Wes Huff shared the gospel with him, shared a lot of great things with Joe. And I wonder how much of this is actually seeping in to Joe. I mean, the fact that he's sharing a video about the Shroud of Turin shows, I think, that he's really deeply considering Christianity, like at a very deep level. You don't get to the Shroud of Turin unless you're really looking into things deeply. Like, I didn't find out about the Shroud of Turin until years into my apologetics journey. Like, it just hadn't popped up. And then eventually it did. I watched some videos from Gary Habermas and other people, and it was fascinating stuff. Like, if you've never heard of the Shroud of Turin, this is the video that he shared. Okay, this is a guy, let me pull it up on the screen here. All right, Shroud Studies. This guy's name is Dr. John Campbell. You've never heard of John. I'm saying John like I know him. He is, let's see here. His name is John Campbell. He is a retired nurse, teacher, and former clinical nurse based in England. I also do some teaching in Asia and Africa when time permits. If you look at his videos, he does not talk about religion. Let me go to his video section. He doesn't really talk about religion. He's talking about, medical science and, psychedelics with Professor Dave Nutt. Respect must be earned, not dictated. Serious DNA contamination. Just random videos, right? But then he produced this video on the Shroud of Turin. Whoops, word ahead here a little bit. He produced this video on the Shroud of Turin because he was interested. All right, let's just watch maybe just a couple minutes of this video, and you guys can go watch the full thing if you want. But this is what Joe Rogan has been thinking about and researching. So let's watch this, or at least a little bit of it.
Well, a warm welcome to this talk. Now, something different today I want to think about. Something I've been thinking about for the past few months, and I kind of feel like I know so many of you now, even though, of course, I don't personally, but I just wanted to share my thinking on this. It's about the Shroud of Turin, which is a shroud in the Cathedral of Turin in Italy. And this is so fascinating, and I've been looking at it for a few months now. It's an overlap between science, pathology, all aspects of science with history. And it's the image of a crucified man. Let me just show you it here. This is from theshroud.com.
Yeah, it really is one of the most fascinating relics, fascinating pieces of history, archaeology, whatever, known to man. This thing is incredible. If this is the first time that you're seeing it, there's actually an image. You can kind of see it right here where my mouse is hovering. This is the face, and it's actually a digital, it's not digital, but it's a negative. Like, if you take a photo of this and you invert it, you actually see the positive. So the image, whoever created this, somehow, without, technology, the photographic technology being developed, they somehow knew if it was, if this came up if it was made in like the 12th or 13th century, as some skeptics claim, then they somehow got a negative of an image of a man, put it on this shroud, and then somehow, years later, when actual photographic technology was invented, then we were able to see the positive that they intended to paint or somehow get on the shroud. That's another fascinating thing about the shroud, is that we don't know how the image actually got there. Not only do we not know how it got there, it's on the thinnest top layer of the fibers. Like, if you were to paint it on there, if you were going to use some sort of material, it would seep through too many layers. And so the image that we actually see on the shroud is so superficial that that's another reason why the shroud is studied so deeply, is that we have no idea how someone did that. Even with today's technology, we don't know how someone did this. Let's watch just a little bit more of this video though.
Site. Now, this is sites on the shroud. In fact, probably the definitive site on the shroud. You can see that the cloth has been damaged. It was burnt in a fire. But we'll also see the image of this man of the shroud on it. It's about 14 feet long, this artifact. It is completely, if you haven't got time to watch this video, I think the evidence for this being the actual burial shroud of Jesus Christ himself is quite convincing.
I mean, okay, so I think this is important for Joe Rogan. right? Because if this guy, I don't know really his background, like if he's got a religious background, maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. I don't know what this guy's background is, but he's saying the evidence, and he's going to talk about, the vast majority of the evidence for and against in this video. But nevertheless, after reviewing all of this evidence, he thinks, yeah, that the probability that this is the authentic burial cloth of Jesus Christ, pretty high, right? He's convinced, which I think says a lot. And it could be, I don't know, guys, this could be swaying Joe Rogan, stuff like this. Apologetics is not dead. We need to be shouting this stuff from the rooftops. The Shroud of Turin, if you don't know about it, you're in apologetics, you need to learn more about it. In fact, I wanted to tell you guys, I actually did a video with Andrew Dalton, Father Andrew Dalton, who is a Catholic priest who had an encounter with the Shroud himself and then became one of the world's foremost experts on this. I interviewed him in person. So we'll watch just a couple minutes of that video as well. And I want you guys to go investigate this further. Like, it's fascinating that we're using Joe Rogan to dive deeper into this apologetic issue. But let's just watch a couple minutes of the interview that I did with Father Dalton, at least with the beginning of it. Meet Father Andrew Dalton, a Catholic priest whose unexpected journey from theology professor to Shroud of Turin expert is as fascinating as the relic itself. In this interview, we delve into the mysterious world of the Shroud and explore the burning questions surrounding its authenticity. Discover how Father Dalton's unexpected encounter with the Shroud led him to become a renowned authority in this field, and why his perspective is a must-hear for anyone intrigued by the intersection of faith, science, and history. All right, so I want you guys to watch this whole thing. I've got it linked in the description of this video, but I'm just going to fast forward to one of the most played sections in the video. And if you guys want to watch the whole thing again, I've got it linked in the description. You'll also be able to just click it at the end of this video. But let's watch just a little bit here. He had a really cool presentation, like a slideshow that we played through the whole video. So you can see different images of the Shroud and different historical background and everything. So it's just super fascinating. You got to watch the whole thing, but let's just watch this little snippet.
Lines that look like the spinal cord of a fish. So somebody called it a herringbone weave. On the Shroud, it's a 3-to-1 herringbone weave with a Z twist. Just so happens that it matches that very nicely, that picture that's there. But the best part is these holes, the so-called poker holes, 4 circles in the shape of like a 7 or an L just on the opposite side.
This top one?
Yeah, so that's a zoomed in version, but if you look on the Hungarian Prayer-Codex itself, you can zoom in on it and you'll see in the shape of a 7 or the shape of an L, those 4 circles appear again. So in the exact same position and orientation as we find on the Shroud, we find here in the Hungarian Prayer-Codex. Even though the cloth is 2-dimensional, it actually encodes 3D information. In other words, we can build, and you've seen if you've come to our museum, a 3D statue of the body. That's not just like artistic, imagination. We can actually derive out of a 2-dimensional cloth the three-dimensional contours of the body. In other words, we know its position, we know its size. Sure, there can be a little discussion about the eyebrows and details like that, but the basic contours of the body, we know. And I think that is just fascinating. And
yeah, it is. But go watch the whole video, guys. I mean, again, but going back to Joe Rogan, this is nuts. This is crazy. What do you guys think about this? And just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you soon.